Welcome to Business Line's State of the Economy podcast, where you'll find insight, analysis, and the story behind the numbers.
Hi, for this edition of podcast, we decided for the first time to engage a woman entrepreneur to understand how Atmanirbharta is shaping up in military sector. Though ISRO and DRDO have been throwing up top women scientists like Missile Women of India, Dr. Tessie Thomas, and Ipsita Biswas, who developed non-lethal bullets in India, women are now also taking steps to raise their own startups for contributing to innovation in defense and strategic domains. And one of them happens to be Dr. Rashi Mehrotra. She's co-founder and director R&D at iCross Private Limited, a deep tech entity which saw its birth in November of 2020. Having done her doctorate from IIT Delhi, she went abroad to work as a special scientist at University of Cyprus and to do postdoctoral research in Germany. Let's listen what she has to say. Welcome to the podcast, Dr. Rashi Mehrotra.
Thanks, Mr. Dilip, for giving me this opportunity for this podcast.
Let's begin our straight away our question and answer session. Being one of the few successful upcoming women entrepreneurs in defense innovation from the private stream, tell us briefly about yourself and how you got interested in this sector.
I'm an IIT Delhi alumnus and I did my PhD in wildlife science communication and signal processing. I have been always interested in this underwater domain and array processing since my PhD. So I also worked on some of the projects with the CARE department, popularly known for its domain and underwater expertise in India. Thereafter, I got the opportunity to work abroad and I went to Cyprus and worked as a special scientist in the University of Cyprus on channel modeling for 5G networks. So at that time, the 5G was coming up quite popularly, and like in outside India, people were working on 5G, and then now they are working on 6G also. So this project was part of the big project under Edge 2020 European, wherein many consortiums were involved. So after Cyprus, I went to Germany and worked as a postdoc researcher in FAU, which is a well-known university in South Germany. There I worked with a startup, and it was the project related to Defense Research Center on air-to-air communication. After that, due to family reasons, I had to come back to India. And at that time was also the COVID time in 2020. And I started working at IIT Delhi on a 5G testbed project, which was a joint initiative by CDOT and all the IITs in India. I also worked on naval R&D in VSC in Delhi. So our defense MSME journey started with years of personal research and development. And the defense sector has been long in a technological advancement. So currently, many fields like especially AI, ML are being explored, particularly in underwater warfare, which are closely related to these technologies. So just to share with you as a researcher, designing and innovating has always been my passion. So drawing my experience, knowledge, and intelligence through years of research and development, I considered advancing in defense system and led the charge as a women entrepreneur in defense innovation.
Are you the only person in your family, or you have no innovators and you just and
So
you got
yes, yeah. So actually, in my own family, I'm also like I'm married. So at both the side, first of all, I'm the only PhD in electrical engineering and only IIT and also I'm the only women entrepreneur doing the defense startup.
That's interesting. So, is being a woman in this male-dominated vertical, innovation still a disadvantage, or things have improved since government's emphasis on Nari Shakti?
So in the present, no, I don't think so. That being a woman in a male-dominated world anymore a disadvantage. So even women nowadays have joined the Indian Armed Forces and excelling in the profession. The government of India has been actively promoting, as you have said, the thing called Nari Shakti within the nation. So positive changes are there underway. And for women in male-dominated sectors, strong societal support is always essential, whether if it is in professional or personal realm. But the quest for gender equality is a perennial debate. And however, altering perception is the only viable solution, I think.
So do you think there's a need to reorient our education system to produce more inquisitive minds? No, because we are very good at theory, but the way our education system is, no, inquisitive minds are not very encouraged at any level, be it in school, subsequently college.
So there is a strong argument for reorienting the Indian education and to produce inquisitive mind. So this has always been an argument between the education sector and the industry sector. So the current system, like it is been criticized for its emphasis on rote learning and memorization and standardized testing. To achieve this reorientation, as you say it, in the Indian education system, the education should be more student centered. It should like incorporate more of experiential learning and inquiry based learning, and reduce the emphasis on taking like high stakes exam and very difficult exams. The mentors also and the teachers should need to be trained to nurture curiosity, because facilitating open-ended discussion and curriculum gives you more flexibility to allow the exploration beyond the textbooks also, like the open-ended question, the open book examination. These things are quite a big example which are also coming up, especially in IITs. They are like creating this type of aura. So to summarize, the inquisitive mind should be better equipped students to face the challenges of the future and contribute to our Indian society.
So let's talk about your work. One of the projects that ICAROS is doing is on developing acoustic vector sensors to study underwater noise measurement. How exactly it works? Can you tell us, our reader, and what is its business potential?
Sure. So I will elaborate on this project that we have developed. So first of all, just to give you the brief, the Navy perspective of this project, Indian Navy has always been pursuing to achieve underwater excellence. And as everybody knows in the naval domain, that it is a leader in the Indian Ocean region, which Navy called it like IOR, which is popularly known in the naval parlance. So giving us this opportunity that we had got, and we won the challenge by the Navy, Indian Navy, of developing the acoustic vector sensor. The project is about developing the hardware. So the acoustic vector sensor is the underwater sensor which works on acoustics, especially dealing with the long range communication, long range detection, because there has been a problem in the underwater side that the long range communication is difficult to achieve. So acoustic vector sensor particularly work on providing long range communication. So in our project, we have developed this hardware and the software. So the hardware, it also gives you the bearing analysis. Okay, so this is the system wherein we have developed a complete passive solution. So what is the functioning of passive sensor? If I give you the description, that whatever target it detects in the underwater scenario, it's a receiver only. It's not a transmitter. It detects my signal passively because whatever targets emit or transmit, it detects it as a ping. So the ping is the direction from which the target is transmitting. So that is the beauty of the sensor. First beauty is that if you deploy it underwater, nobody will come to know because it is a receiver, it's not a transmitter. And using AI ML, we have also made a solution in which we classify what type of ship, submarine, or torpedo is there. So overall, we created a course expertise within India using this, providing and developing this niche technology. Also, to give you the brief in the background, underwater detection plays an important role for naval warfare. So, however, it is one of the most difficult science because underwater environment is so dynamic that the sound profile, whatever the sound is being transmitted, changes if you go more deeper in the underwater ranges. So only a handful of countries have developed these solution, and India is also considered one of the leaders. With AI/ML, the undersea complex challenges are finding new outlook though, because AI/ML has been it is a very coming up field and that very new thing that as people are taking on. Acoustic vector sensor is one of the path-breaking research, and the data collected is richer and vector information, because this data which is being collected and analyzed thereafter gives you better granularity and sensitivity as compared to the hydrophone which is used in India. So coming to the commercial and business aspect of this sensor, that deploying this sensor can also provide marine life conservation and pertaining to the ocean life preservation, because quieting the noises of ships would be particularly effective, as this contribute disproportionality to the overall shipping noise. It will also give you immense opportunity for better detection of ranges of underwater target, especially mammals and fishes in the commercial side of the marine life. So marine deep tech innovation are far more complicated, especially for making them ready for real field trials is the big challenge. So there how our AVS will not only be helpful to the Navy, but also provide better this thing for the commercial side of the story.
So how long did you, can you tell me briefly, how long did you take to complete this innovation? One. And second, does this sensor differentiate, say, between an animal and a ship, and between ship and a submarine?
Sure. So yeah, that's a very good question. So first of all, we got this project in 2022, and just to tell you, we also showcased an Aero Show 2023 February. So there we had this concept of developing, and in 2023 May, we went to the sea for the trials. So we developed from lab to lake to sea. So 2023 May, we were ready for deploying our sensor in the Vizag Ocean. So we did our trials in the Vizag Sea and in the harbor side and the deep sea ocean. So we were ready in 2023. So thereafter, there have been very many stages which we have to go through, like for the IDEX milestone that we have to go through. We are having our AVS developed. We have fine-tuned it, we have optimized it, and that's the thing. Coming to the second question, so AVS is based on the frequency that it detects for the target. So our AVS is more focused on low frequency analysis. So low frequency analysis pertains to the ship, submarine, and torpedo, and some of the mammals and fishes which are there in India. For example, humpback whale, which is there in the south part of India, we can detect that, and we can have a marine life conservation with respect to that. So our sensor works mainly on the low frequency analysis, which is the real threat and challenge required by the naval operation, because the target which they deal works on the low frequency.
So all these platforms would be generating a particular frequency. So by measuring that frequency, you get to know whether it is torpedo or a vessel or a submarine, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, that's interesting. So ICROS, in a short span of time, has also got an opportunity to participate in the Indo-US Defense Accelerator Ecosystem, IndusX Challenge, jointly launched by US Defense Innovation Unit of Department of Defense and IDEX of Indian Defense Ministry. How coming together of India and US is helping in realization of critical technologies?
Yeah, so Mr. Modi and Biden meeting in June 2023 resulted in this launching of India-US Defense Acceleration Ecosystem that we called the IndusX, Impact IndusX, and which is a defense innovation bridged between the defense industrial cooperation and between the two nations. So basically, IndusX, the work of IndusX was related to the crucial role of technological innovation in defense within the broader context of US-Indian strategic partnership. So we were the proud winner of this INDUSX challenge. They also launched some challenge which was for the Indian Navy and the Indian Coast Guards. So we were the proud winner of this Indian Navy challenge, underwater communication, which was jointly launched by US Defense Innovation Unit, which we call it DIU, and DOD, and IDEX, DIO, and the MOD. So this was the INDUSX program that was launched at that time. So underwater communication, just to give you the background of this, underwater communication needs to cater for beyond own platform detection ranges for cooperative engagement capability. It enables the underwater battle group resources to share weapon and sensor data at desirable speeds to have a single integrated underwater common operational picture. So this would also enhance the interoperability as per Indo-US COMCASA agreement, which is also known by everyone. So India and international community has established IFC-IOR for ensuring monitoring aspects like maritime security, IUU, etc. in the Indian Ocean region, which overlaps today with the US Indo-PAC Command and interoperability with co-developed critical technologies. And it shall be a key to the joint operation by the two nations, like, for example, as a quad naval force.
Right. So what is the gestation period for this project as well?
Yes. So gestation period, it was like around 15 months. And by that time, we are developing the software and the communication. Underwater communication has always been a challenge for like everybody. And because longer ranges are difficult to achieve. So this project is with the submarine group of Indian Navy. And we'll be putting our system on the submarine, and the installation part and the designing part is also very challenging. And thereafter, the things will be done, the trials and everything will be taken care of.
So what does US get out of it if you are doing it for Indian submarine?
So that is a big question, which is being like asked also by us from the submarine side of the Indian Navy, that what exactly the interoperability means and what exactly the US startups are doing. So we have the habit of doing the research, and like our papers are published in IEEE articles in journals and conferences. So we have a habit of exploring internationally also. So there are US startups who are also working on this solution. There were 3 Indian startups who were selected and 3 US startups was selected on this channel, and they are also working on developing the solution. So maybe later on there will be a joint collaboration between these 2 startups in future.
Okay, so that is not known. On the production, how the production would happen, will it be again jointly developed and produced by both the countries, or what it would be? That roadmap is not clear. That's what you're saying.
That might be clear by some other agencies, true. But yeah, I mean, as of now, I know these things.
What else, if you can tell us? No, we have little time, but what else are you working on? If you can share with us.
So like underwater, we are doing it everything. So we also have this project with the AI cell of Indian Navy, in which we are developing AI language translator. So it is an offline language translator. So as of now, people have developed online language translator using some of the APIs of ChatGPT. But we are developing this offline language translator, in which all the language dialects, especially catering to the Indian Ocean region side, will be taken into consideration, and there will be language identification, language translation, which will help the Navy people and the sailors to they will have this software, and they can easily translate the language. As of now, they are doing it manually. So that is a software that we are developing in terms of AI/ML technology. We are also developing one more this technology, which is called anti-drone system. So our team was also involved in this drone technology, in which we have the solution of developing anti-drone system, in which again, first of all, you have to have acoustics, which is being detected when a drone is flying. Big technologies like RF and camera comes at the later stage. So we are focusing on like the perimeter area in the hills side, in the valley side, and in the mountain side, so that our system can be put and it can be used as an anti-drone system using drone detection, for drone detection. So we are working on these technologies. Yeah.
There are so many. I thought you are working on anti-drone system underwater.
So yeah, no. So this is for mainly for, it will be a use case for the army that we can provide. Yes. So
How do
basically,
you
yeah.
how do you see this challenge of no? There are all Chinese parts are being sort of integrated
Sure.
and sold here in India by companies as their own. So
Yes,
they rip
yes.
off or assemble, and there are security implications on it. Do you think one of the reason is yes no, because of the product are cheap? Don't you think as a innovator we need to innovate on utility products as well?
Sure, utility products are being developed, and looking at the defense side, this government has got a very good scenario of developing, making an Atmanirbhar Bharat. So that's why we are more focused on developing this indigenously, and it has also made the startups to come up in this defense field, and the startups were already there in the utility field and the services before, but in the defense field, they have also made their way because of the Atmanirbhar Bharat that our policy is. So doing it indigenously will also be a thing in future, that we'll be not depending on our foreign products. And yes, I mean, like Chinese, they are doing their thing on their own, and we'll be like taking from them. We should do it on our own. That's my this thing, my idea. So also to tell you, like I also have this idea that the people who are graduating and from the top-notch university should invest their ideas in the development of the technologies. And there should be a bridge between university level research and cutting edge technology of being military or being any other services. It requires to be reinforced. So that's
Yeah,
my idea.
I was coming to that. No, as a researcher and innovator, what suggestions do you have to change the R&D ecosystem for better outcomes in India? There are and there is there is hardly any investment also on R&D. Now it is coming up, but even by the defense private companies, they don't invest as much as they should. So, what do you think, since you are running your own startup and you are also innovator, so what could be done?
Yeah, so my suggestion as a being a women entrepreneur and also as a researcher, to improve the R&D ecosystem in India, we can adopt an approach of military-industrial complex, which describes the relationship between the military and the defense industry beautifully. Since years, like they are being used to supply the weapons, equipment, and services. So defense-related deep tech solution, it's complex and it requires years of R&D. It's not like waking up in the morning and then you are saying that you are a defense startup. Doing years of R&D research and professional expertise will give you the stamina of developing this defense related deep tech solution, which in our case it completes the loop, because I am there and my team, we have 4 or 5 PhDs who are having underwater expertise in the field. So as I mentioned, I would also like to see many of the researchers from top-notch university. They should invest their ideas in the development of the technology, being it AI, ML technology, but like universities and this thing are promoting startups now. So that is a good thing that they have done. And as for my thought on the investment of R&D by defense private companies, I must tell you that defense startup in deep tech are some of the riskiest endeavor ever, right? So any graduate who wants to set up a defense startup must first unambiguously study the requirement of the services. As I've told you, they should not just get up in the morning and think about that, okay, I'm starting a defense startup. That is, the startup must keep a more extended requirement gathering phase for the project. The innovation must be designed from the point of view of not only having the simulation prototype, which most of the universities are focused on, but having the view of the field trials, which is extremely difficult and resource consuming effort, but they should be more focused on having the developed prototype and just go to the field and do the trials. So at the end, I would just like to say that startup leaders need resilience and patience mostly, and genuine passion. Passion is the strength of any startup, and resilience to make this true defense deep tech startup viable in India. So these are my thoughts.
Thanks for joining us and taking us through what it means to be a woman scientist and your interesting work. Wish you all the best for your future endeavors.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.